What up guys, Alex is here, GuitarForce.com. So as you can see today we're going to take a look at Creep by Stone Temple Pilots, and this is going to be the last video of the year 2017. So I wish you all the best in 2018 and happy holidays. Now back to the lesson. The tabs and the backing track are going to be available at GuitarForce.com. As far as the sound, I was using this acoustic guitar, which is Taylor, obviously, you can see that. And also we're going to cover actually two guitar parts in this video, the acoustic part and also the electric guitar part. So for the electric guitar I was using the VST plugin Guitar Rig, and I'm going to show you the picture of the preset in just a moment. The tuning for this song, for this lesson, is going to be standard, and while you are checking out the picture of the preset, here's my low E string so you can tune up and play along with this lesson. Alright, so just one more thing, if you would like to check out cover playthrough of this song, it's going to be available on my other channel. The link is going to be in the description box down below, hopefully if YouTube allows that. So if you're interested, please check that out as well. Without further ado, let's go for the close-up and start this lesson. Okay, so we're going to start off with the acoustic guitar part, and the intro goes like this. Okay, so here we have only three chords. Starts off with the C major chord in the first position. Then we go to B dominant 7. Looks and sounds like this. And then we go to E minor chord. And with a slightly different voicing, we add on the third fret the high E and the B strings. So we have this. Okay, so it varies. He starts off with the just kind of power chord and then adds the high E and the B strings on the third fret. Like that. So it starts off with the C major, then we go to B dominant 7, then we stay on E minor 7 chord. On this chord we stay a little bit longer and then we repeat the progression. So again we have the C major to B7 to E minor. The second time actually he just plays with the reverse rake kind of close to the bridge and just plays the E minor chord. Lets it ring out. So that's the intro. Then we go into the verse and it's practically the same chords, but the difference here is that we start playing with the E minor chord. So we have so that's the only difference. Starting off with the E minor, staying on this chord for a little bit longer, and then we go to C major, to B dominant 7, going back to the E minor 7 chord again. And as far as the picking patterns, you know, I always encourage people to listen to the original track if they want to play as close as possible to the original track and just play along with the track, you know, and that way you're going to be picking up the patterns, you know, training your ear and playing as close as possible to the original track. But, you know, it's not necessarily to do that. I mean, you can come up with your own picking patterns as well, you know. So that's verse number 1. Then we go into pre-chorus, and the pre-chorus goes like this. Okay, so here we have three chords, first two times. So we have G major, again with the open voicing, the open strings. Then we go to A suspended 2, so it's just like the standard A, but the B string is open and the high E is obviously also. And then we go to E minor 7 chord again. So that's the chord progression for the first 2 times. So G to A suspended 2, then to E minor. 2 times. Then third time we play G to A suspended 2. Then we go to C major chord to D major chord. And you can include the A string open as well, just to give it a little bit more, you know, kind of thicker chord, using the lower strings open. So that's the pre-chorus. Then after that we go into the chorus itself, and it's more of a picking pattern, and it goes like this. Okay, so generally speaking, this part is played on the electric guitar with a slight overdrive, but you know, just for the sake of this lesson, you can play this part on the acoustic guitar as well. So we have sort of 2 sections here, 2 parts, and they're quite similar to each other, with the only difference of the endings. So the first part starts off with this pattern. So we have low E string open, then we have 2nd fret on A, open D. Then we have, so it's open low E to the 2nd fret, and then we play A and D strings open. Then we have, so it's 2nd to the 3rd fret on the low E, and then again A string open, D string open. And then we have, which is 3rd fret on the low E, and then we have 2 hammer-ons. First one is on the A string, open to the 2nd fret, and then open to the 2nd fret on the D. And that's the first part, the first section. So slowly it's going to be like this. Then the second part of this of the chorus, it's exactly the same, like I said, from the beginning. When we get to the 3rd fret on the low E, instead of playing open A, open D, we play sort of like the G major chord. So we have 2nd fret on the A string, and then the D string is open. So we have, then we have, so it's a 3rd fret on the low E, then on the A string we have open 1, 2, and add some vibrato, staying on this note for a little bit longer. So that's the whole difference of the second part. So both parts together slowly going to be like this. Okay, so after the first chorus, we continue playing kind of in between the sections. We continue playing on the E minor 7 chord, so it's just picking. You know, just random picking. Listen to the original track again closely for the picking pattern. And then halfway through we just let it ring out the high strings. Then we go back to playing verse number 2, pre-chorus, chorus, and the parts are exactly the same, so there is no change or anything like that. And then after the second chorus we have a bridge, kind of bridge section, and it's just staying on this chord, picking this chord for 4 times. Each chord is played for 1 bar. So the chord looks and sounds like this. And again we play with the reverse rake. So we have open low E, then we have 2nd fret on A, then we have 4th fret on D, G string is open, then we have on the 3rd fret B string, and then high E is open. And like I said, we play the reverse rake, so we have. So we play this for 4 times, and you can pick a reverse rake, make it closer to the bridge just to create this sound. Alright, so that's the acoustic guitar on the bridge. After that, we go straight into pre-chorus, so it's exactly the same thing, and then we end the song with the chorus. So both of the parts we've covered so far, so they're exactly the same. Okay, so now let's go on to the second guitar part, which is played on the electric guitar. Alright, so as far as the electric guitar, essentially it follows the same chord progression, obviously, but it's playing slightly different picking patterns and also some fills. And also there are 2 or 3 guitars, actually, electric guitars that are playing. So one is playing kind of clean sound, second in the chorus it's overdriven, and then also there is a 3rd guitar which is playing with sort of like a tremolo effect on. But we're just going to cover all of the things in one guitar, and you can choose which parts you want to play, or you can include all of them. So we're going to break it down in section by section. So the intro goes like this. So obviously we play it twice, but as you can see we have the C chord and we kind of arpeggiate it, starting with the root note, with the A string. So we have just picking these strings. Then when we go to the B dominant 7 chord, we play it slightly faster, like that. And then when we go to the E minor chord, we use that voicing which is fretting the high E and the B strings on the 3rd fret, and we play with a reverse rake. Okay, also closer to the bridge if you want to get that sound. And just let it ring out that chord. Then we pick it again, because it's for the 2 bars, for 2 bars. And then again we repeat the same thing. But the second time we play the reverse rake only once. After that we get into verse number 1, and the electric guitar is silent here. There is no part, there is just an acoustic. The electric guitar part comes in when we play the pre-chorus. And the pre-chorus again is the same chords, but again we play them slightly differently picking wise. So we have these. Okay, so that's the pre-chorus. Again, it's the same thing, the G chord, but as you can see, you kind of just strum the chord and let it ring out. Then second time, then you switch to the A suspended 2, and then we go to E minor 7 chord. Again, with the reverse rake, just letting it ring out. We do it for 2 times, then third time, again, we have the G to A to C, and then to the D major chord. Okay, and then after that we go into overdriven guitar, and we have the chorus part, but here we play it slightly differently. So it goes. Okay, so it's exactly the same thing, but we're just playing kind of bass notes, which are on the low E, and we're not playing the A and the D strings here. Obviously, you can do that if you want to. You know, it just adds to the sound, so you can play with the distorted guitar, just like we did with the acoustic guitar. The only thing is that in the end we add the hammer-ons, this part, and also these notes, as we did with the acoustic guitar as well. So essentially it's exactly the same thing, but we're skipping some of the notes, just playing, kind of concentrating on the low E string, kind of playing bass notes. So we play this during the first chorus, and then for the kind of break in between the sections, another guitar which is playing with the tremolo effect on is just playing this chord with the reverse rake. We've covered this chord before, so this is the E minor 9 chord actually. So it's exactly the same as we did for the break on the acoustic guitar. So it's the same chord, but we play it on the clean electric guitar with effects on, with the tremolo effects on. Alright, so after the part in between sections where we have this chord, the E minor 9 chord that the acoustic guitar is playing, then after that we go into playing verse number 2, and now the electric guitar is playing this pattern. So what we have here is just these two notes on the B string 3rd fret, and then on the D we have 2nd fret, and the G string open. And the picking pattern is very simple. So we start off with the D string, then we go to G, to B, back to G, back to D again. And we play this for 4 times. I'm sorry, 3 times. And then 4th time we have, so what we do is simply shift up to the 4th fret on the D string, and we let go of the B string, so we have the G and the B strings open, and we play again D, G, B, back to G string, and then again the whole pattern starts all over again. Now we play this part throughout the second verse, and then in the end of the verse the picking pattern slightly changes, so it goes like this, just the ending. So as we play the first part again with the 2nd fret on D and G string open and B string on the 3rd fret, we then slide into the 4th fret on the D, and we play in 16th notes, so it's a little bit faster. So we play like this, D, G, B. Then what we do is we play a slide or hammer on from the 4th fret onto the 5th on the D string, and then we pick again the G string, B, and then we pick these 2 strings, the D and the G. So we have this. Okay, and after that we go into the second pre-chorus. Now during the pre-chorus we have a fill when we play the second pre-chorus and third pre-chorus, and it goes like this. So we have this. So we have this fill. So essentially what we do is, so the first time we play the chord progression G to A to E minor 7, then second time when we play G to A to E minor 7, and then we add the fill. So essentially it's again this E minor 9 chord, I'm sorry, but we pick it in a specific picking pattern. So it starts off with the D string. So what I do here, just hold these two notes instead of the whole chord. You can hold the whole chord if you want to, but this is just easier like that. So we have on the 4th fret the D string and 3rd fret on the B, and we pick it like this. So go D, G, B, E string, and then back. So high E, B, G, D, and back to the G string. So one more time. And then we continue with the pre-chorus part. So again, the G, to A, to C, to D. And then we go back to playing the chorus, which is exactly the same thing with the overdriven guitar. Okay, so I'm not going to play the whole part. You get the idea. So we play the chorus, and then for the break, we have the acoustic guitar, which is playing the chord like that. Now what we do with the electric guitar, we have this, again, tremolo effect on. We have just, again, we play this chord, but we're picking different strings in between the chords. So the first time the acoustic is playing, the electric guitar, the clean one with the tremolo effect on, just playing these two strings. So it's the B to G. Then the acoustic guitar is playing second time the chord. The electric guitar is playing, so it's D, G, back to G strings. Then the acoustic guitar is playing third time the chord. The electric guitar is playing. So starting with the high E, we go high E, B, and the G strings. And then fourth time, electric guitar is playing with the acoustic the same thing, reverse rake of the chord, the whole chord. And then after that, we go back to the pre-chorus. Playing exactly the same as we did the second pre-chorus. So the first time is just the 3 chords. Second time we have the feel again, back to playing the chord progression. Third time. And then we go into the last chorus, which is exactly the same as we did previously, and that's how we end the song. Alright guys, so this brings us to the end of this lesson. I hope you liked it. If you did like it, please give it a thumbs up. Also comment, share, subscribe if you're new to my channel. Don't forget to visit GuitarForce.com for more guitar related stuff. In the meantime, I'll see you again. Take it easy, and as always, let the force be with you.